Hi everybody, Rob Woodbridge from Untether.tv. This is obviously the podcast, video podcast, where we actually get behind the business of mobile. I'm joined here with Michael Holzer, who is actually the product manager for the new BlackBerry client that Xobni has just released. And before we, Michael, thanks for coming on board.
Thanks for having me. Pleasure to be here.
Well, I'm glad to be here. I mean, I've told you that I'm a longtime Xobni user on for Outlook and the plugin for Outlook, and I love it. I've tried a number of different applications to, so that I don't have to categorize my email, which is the perfect thing. I'm terrible at organization, and this allows me to dump it into one folder and then just find it when I need to. I've used everybody else's, all the competing products, and landed on Xobni, used the free version, paid for the full version because I think it's of great value, and so I'm very intrigued to see what you guys are up to on the BlackBerry side to see how you extend that service. So again, thanks for joining us today.
Sure, my pleasure.
So why don't we begin? So you said that you're a product manager on the BlackBerry side, and you do a lot of product design as well, involved with Xobni.
Yeah, it's true. So my background is actually more on the design side, and I moved into product a couple of years ago. The nuance of product and design are very closely related, but in the tech space, typically you'll have designers and you'll have product managers. We're here at Xobni. I will say that we're very passionate about design. So all of the product managers are very good designers, including all the way up to the CEO. Jeff himself is a great designer.
Well, I think you have to, and I mean, I was exposed to you guys very early on, and I think it was the Bill Gates, mention in one of his keynotes, about extending the usability of Outlook, and struck me as a great way to launch a company, which was to have Bill Gates endorse the product.
Yeah, that wasn't a bad start off, was it?
It's a kickoff. I'm sure it just kind of went like straight up after that, the activity in you guys. So why don't we, for those people watching and listening who don't know what Xobni is, why don't you give just the elevator pitch about the concept of Xobni, and then we'll move into where we are on the mobile side.
Okay. So Xobni actually has a really fun story, which, there's clapping going on outside, sorry. Xobni has a great story because our founder, Adam Smith, was an MIT student, and he was looking to mine big sets of data.
Yeah.
And interestingly, his dad said, I use this great email program called Outlook, and maybe you should check it out because, obviously Outlook harnesses a lot of data. So Adam was studying machine learning, and he's just started mining through Outlook databases and figured out that quickly that this was a huge data set that he could use for his projects. And so he started just building it as an analytics program. And so he embedded himself inside of Outlook so that he could, watch the incoming emails and give people interesting stats on them. He quickly met with a few of his advisors at school, and they were like, this is actually a really profound idea, and you might consider stepping out of school for a little while and starting a company around it. So, I think that was, maybe 5 years ago?
He hasn't gone back yet, has he?
Nope. Sure hasn't. So, like I said, it started off as an analytics program, and then quickly we figured out that it had a lot more power than that.
Yeah.
If we could build intelligence around those analytics and build a really consumer experience around it, that we had a real tangible product, and it's sort of grown into what it is today.
Well, but that's multifaceted, right? So the analytics component is what drives the engine, but the feedback from it has obviously been very good for you guys to continue the development and keep Adam out of school for 5 years.
It's true.
With his parents nagging in the background, saying, "Hey, listen, get back to school. You got to get back to school." I'm sure that's
I don't think they're complaining either.
No, I don't think so. Do you have a rough estimate of the install base for Xobni for Outlook?
Roughly, I think we have over 5 million installs now.
Wow, that's pretty amazing, isn't it? Don't you think?
Yeah.
5 million people using the product.
Yeah, it's quite fascinating how quickly such a sort of small startup can spread quickly. It's nice.
It's pretty viral. So now, a while back, there was an announcement that Xobni got funding from the BlackBerry Venture Fund, and I think it was a $5 million or something investment, if I recall. And I guess that was to push the product onto the mobile platform, onto the BlackBerry platform. So, or was it? Or
yeah, I don't know that there were any specifics. Like they've actually, the BlackBerry name is attached to the fund,
yeah.
and you know they work very closely with RIM and such. But I can't say that they've been heavy-handed in forcing us to develop on the BlackBerry.
Okay.
It was more just it was sort of pushed us to look more at the mobile space,
Mm-hmm.
and we were like, you know, sort of after the fund came through, we said, well, how many of our users are actually on BlackBerry anyway? And once we looked, we were like, wow, okay, this is compelling.
Yeah.
You know, some 50% of our users were 60% of our users are on smartphones, and 50% of those users were on BlackBerries.
Wow.
So the overlap was huge, and then just anecdotally, everybody we talked to was the use case that really drove me from the beginning was, you know, I love Xobni, but I've stopped managing my address book. And now I leave and I get off on the road and I have none of my contacts on my phone. I have no contacts for all these people that I want to talk to. That was really the driving use case. It was like, well, at the very least, we need to get Xobni contacts onto the BlackBerry.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But then, last week, you guys launched the full client for the BlackBerry, and
right.
So let's talk about that. I mean, you obviously found a need. So if 60% of your Outlook users, or the Xobni for Outlook users, were carrying smartphones, 50% of those BlackBerry, that eliminates my question about why BlackBerry first versus iPhone. That's satisfied, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there are a few others.
Say that again. Sorry.
I'd say that, I mean, for me, there was one other really compelling reason to use BlackBerry before iPhone, which was just the access we had across the platform.
Yeah. Yeah.
iPhone has done a great, and you know, kudos to them for keeping their platform well sandboxed, so that you know app developers can pretty much do whatever they want in that sandbox, and it doesn't ever threaten the rest of the OS and the experience.
Yeah.
But from our perspective, that also made it really difficult to get to emails, get to phone logs, get to SMS, to really build a truly compelling experience.
Yeah, and it's no secret, I think, that that Apple has locked off the email client. You know, there's the ability to attack or attach anything to the email client. That's their.
Yeah,
that's theirs.
Not attack.
Yeah, no, attach. How's that? So the product basically extends the best features from the desktop application onto the BlackBerry. Let's talk about the product, the mobile client right away, and tell me a little bit about what it does now.
Okay. So yeah, I'd like to think that it grabs all of the best features from the Outlook client. The Outlook client has had a lot more time and really refined a lot of the features. So I don't want to necessarily. Those are big shoes to fill.
Okay.
But nonetheless, so when we first started, like I said, when we first started developing the BlackBerry application, it was really about building a BlackBerry application